Hello, everybody. My name is Tony B., and I've been doing poetry in Tulsa for about 14 years, and I've lived here most of my life with a small time away. This piece here, I wrote it, I was thinking about why we black people are in the state that we are. And I researched it, and this is kind of what I came up with. And my favorite quote from Langston Hughes is, "Hold fast to your dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly." So when dreams lose wing and abandon him, what becomes a man? When all his yesterdays are rendered meaningless, his culture shattered, icons stomped on, heroes ridiculed, when over and over he's hammered, chained to a life of drudgery till his soul loses the will to fly. What then becomes succeeding generations of offspring of this shattered man, whose scars, though not as deep and visible as those of each preceding fathers, still crisscross like whip marks across their psyches, and none, not one of them, ever received any therapy. Many would love to ignore this, but the Holocaust was real. The Holocaust was devastating. The Holocaust is ongoing here in Black America, where the victims, after ingesting the poisons for so long, have incubated and now help propagate the horror. If only we know how to sweeten that haterade just right, so that our offspring and neighbors willingly join and learn to savor the self-loathing. Thus, words like pimp, thug, bewitch, and my nizzle emerge from our mouths like praise just now. That is the true tragedy and power of this Holocaust. It's not just an event. It has gone on for so long, become so deeply entrenched that it's now morphed into a lifestyle. What I want to know is, how do we African American males regain direction when we can't recognize the schizophrenia in our role models and won't even admit to ourselves that there's something really wrong in here? That the indifference, the violence, the self-destruction are but outward symptoms of a deep, dark inner malaise. Years ago, there was an experiment conducted with an all-white class of third graders in which they were separated by eye color. The brown-eyed kids were constantly praised, the blue-eyed kids continually belittled. Within 4 days, the grades and the demeanor of the blue-eyed kids deteriorated. Now, if 4 days can have an effect, imagine the impact of 400 years of "you ain't Jack." Your father's fathers never accomplished jack. Is there any wonder that the African American male today has got a lot of bad habits? Habits that pass down from generation to generation to generation now seem inherently cultural and normal. It's called learned helplessness. When victims are forced to endure unrelenting abuse from which they feel powerless to escape, hopelessness overtakes them. And even when afterwards they are able to make better choices, they rarely do, because they've already learned and passed that message on to their offspring that it ain't gonna make no difference. They're gonna do what they wanna do. Abused people tend to abuse people. Kidnapped victims often identify with their captors, and if you're forbidden to read, forbidden to learn the language correctly, must instead learn how to talk from Bubba, how to act from Bubba, then it's darn near a given that your succeeding generations of offspring will embrace the culture of the uneducated as ebonically normal and speak fluent Bubba-onics. 400 years of abuse, emasculation, and miseducation cannot be made invisible by a now going on 5 or 6 decade flesh-colored Band-Aid. Yet selective memories allow others to ignore the centuries that shaped him and point shameful, accusing fingers at his now. Now, today, we're talking reconciliation in Tulsa. Nothing says you don't matter. Nothing says you don't mind that you don't matter than the way Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard gets blocked right at the color line. When it hits Brady, then reverts to Cincinnati for the rest of Tulsa, for its real citizens. When a former KKK member is honored in your own backyard and they backhand you with an MB, then slap that reconciliation Band-Aid on top of it, you know you have no power. For when one side realizes it can do as it pleases because the other side is comprised mostly of passive sheeple, there is no reconciliation, just business as usual. Until the weaker side builds and flexes its own financial muscle, the Brady's will remain Brady's, and the black sheep will still trek there by the thousands, because that's what sheep do, flock where they're headed. We, as a people, must be ready to leap the tall perceptions that others have of us, smash through our own unconscious barriers, ignore the kryptonite placed before us, and learn to believe, truly believe in ourselves again. Stop being the lowest achieving group because we accept it. It is not our ability, it's our approach that dooms us. For how can you approach a problem with a positive attitude if your mind keeps replaying scenes where again and again and again you go in there and talk, they look blankly, listen to what you say, then go ahead and do what they want to do over and over again? Reconciliation will remain a platitude until our attitudes change. We need to reach back to that once upon a time in a Greenwood far, far away when we were not dependent. It's time, y'all. Time to reattach those wings to our broken dreams. Time to wake up and stop being complicit in this nightmare. Thank you.